When was the last time you have been spellbound by a teacher? When I ask myself that question, I know I have been spellbound by the power of God through my dad in the last 9 years of his life when he lived in a nursing home. He was there due to an accident where he fell and broke his neck and was paralyzed from the neck down. A man who was a sheet metal mechanic and a carpenter. And the only thing he could do for the rest of his life was to speak. And he still had his mind of clarity. But physically, he could do nothing for himself. And yet, in those 9 years, it was some of the greatest moments of love I had with him, where he would look at me and look right through me, and it was all love. At the end of his life, everything he had basically was gone except love. And it filled the room, it filled the space, it filled our hearts. It reminded us of the power of God's love and God's healing in ways that we cannot imagine, but that love endures all things. To this day, I still feel my dad's presence of love that sees through me, and I am still spellbound by the power of God's love because of him. In today's gospel, we hear from Mark the continuation of Jesus' mission and ministry, calling disciples and preaching the good news. Today, he is in a synagogue in Capernaum near Galilee, and he is seen as a teacher and a healer. Here are some pieces of that gospel from Mark chapter 21 to 28. Jesus entered the synagogue on a Sabbath and began to teach. The people were spellbound by his teaching because he taught with authority and not like the scribes. There appeared in the synagogue a man with an unclean spirit that shrieked, "What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus rebuked him. "Be quiet. Come out of the man." At that, the unclean spirit convulsed the man violently, and with a loud shriek came out of him. All who looked upon were amazed. They began to ask, "What does this mean?" A new teaching in a spirit of authority. He gives orders to unclean spirits, and they obey. And from that point on, Jesus' reputation began to spread throughout the surrounding region of Galilee. Jesus teaches with authority. He knows who he is and what he is called to do. He heals a person with an unclean spirit. He is teaching on the Sabbath in a synagogue, and people were spellbound. They were amazed that Jesus cures this person by the mere power of the word. His word spoken heals. The power of Jesus' healing and authority and his teaching left people amazed, and they began to spread rumors about who is this Jesus, and his reputation expands. This week, let us reflect on our lives. And how do others learn of who is this Christ, this God of love, who does more for us than we could ever imagine, and who leaves us spellbound by the power of love and healing, a word that moves us to grace? How do we empower others to love God and to look to God by the example of our lives and how we live if we claim to be disciples, people who sit at the feet of God to learn God's ways of love? Through Jesus, through God's love that is unconditional. this week? What can we do in small acts of love in our lives, in this place of the world, where we can inspire others who say, I know who Christ is because of who you are and what you do, and by your works of love? How will we live as disciples, sitting at the feet of this teaching and this powerful love of God that leaves us spellbound? Amen.